With Ezra Miller's situation growing worse every single day, it should be no surprise that there is going to be repercussions on himself and the film of The Flash. Just the other day, he is now getting charged with burglary in the state of Vermont. I mean, count how many things he's done or has been accused of so far. This situation is getting so much worse, and he's only doing it to himself. Following the absolute bombshells that Zaslav has been dropping on everyone with the cancellation of Batgirl, the cancellation of Supergirl, and all of these other projects, just the simple fact that nothing is safe right now because he actually wants to create a proper DC cinematic universe. I specifically said in my video before about how people were wondering what was going to happen to The Flash, and the director and his wife or whoever made a comment about how we're still good to go, this movie is dropping, and I promised everyone that this movie was not okay, that it was suffering tremendously, and it is, because now Warner Brothers has put 3 potential possibilities of what they are going to do with the Flash film moving forward because of this massive issue that Ezra Miller has created for himself, the film, and the brand. Before I get into the 3 options, I do just want to say, are any of us really surprised this is happening? And I'm not really talking about the fact that Ezra Miller is a complete dirtbag or scumbag. I more so mean, are we really surprised that the movie still has not come out? That we still haven't gotten a Flash movie since 2014, which is how long this film has been in development hell. I mean, when a movie is in development hell for that long, I'm not surprised when 8 years passes, and even when the film is completely filmed and done, still not surprised we haven't gotten it. I love saying what I'm about to say every single time I get the chance to do so, so I'm going to do it again right now. I don't want this movie to come out. I've mentioned so many times, I think it is a poor excuse of a film. It is a poor excuse of a Flashpoint version in film form. I don't like what they decided to do with this movie. I don't want to see Michael Keaton's Batman come back. I just don't want any part of this film. So if there's any way they can actually scrap this movie, I'm good with it. Now, with that being said, let's get into the 3 options that are apparently being laid out by Warner Brothers Discovery right now. So option number 1 states Warner's has received indications that the 29-year-old Miller, whose mother has accompanied the actor in recent days, will seek professional help after returning home to their farm in Vermont after being away. If that help happens, Miller could give an interview at some point explaining their erratic behavior over the past few years. The actor could then do limited press for The Flash, and the movie would open in cinemas as planned. So option 1 is not going to happen. The fact that this guy has just been able to magically go home with no repercussions at all seems very strange. And didn't he already seek professional help a couple months ago after Hawaii? And that didn't help him at all. If anything, things happened to get worse. This whole professional help excuse because he's popular, he's an actor, and he's rich is played out, old, and just bad taste. That's not going to happen. Option 1, I think, is safe to say we can scratch that one out. Oh yeah, and by the way, let's have an interview where he explains his erratic behavior. Really? You really want him to hold some sort of Warner Brothers Flash film press conference and say, hey, yeah, sorry guys, you know, I haven't been myself. I've been throwing chairs at women and breaking their skulls. I've been kidnapping families and holding them in my gun farm. I've been grooming pre-teens to join some sort of Icelandic cult I've been growing over on the other side of the world. You know, these things haven't really been great for me in my life, but I'm getting better. Get the hell out of here with that BS. That's not gonna happen, and if it does, there's a serious issue. So then the second scenario, even if Miller doesn't reach out for help, Warner's could still release the film, but don't expect Miller to play a prominent role in terms of marketing and publicity. nor would Miller be the Flash going forward, as the role would be recast in future projects. Regardless of what happens to Ezra Miller right now, say he does all of a sudden find a way to redeem himself, which is not going to happen, but just, devil's advocate, let's say that did happen. He's still not the Flash. They will recast his role moving forward, whether or not this movie is released. If we see this movie, it will be the last time we ever see Ezra Miller in the role. And like I've been saying for the past couple of months, whether or not they decide to release this film and its theaters, streaming services, or both, the publicity and the marketing, the advertising is probably going to be centered around Sasha Calle's Supergirl and Michael Keaton's Batman, since they will be the top selling points. Even though this is a Flash film, and even if Ezra Miller was actually a good guy, and what's been going on the past couple of months never happened, even if that was the case, Michael Keaton would still probably be more so the talking point of this movie, if anybody even wants to talk about this movie in the first place, because of how long it's been delayed, because of its production hell, and because no one really trusts many DC movies in the route they decided to take this. And then this is my absolute favorite option, number 3. Things go from bad to worse with the situation with Miller deteriorating. This would see Warner's killing the movie outright, as it could not be reshot with a different actor. Miller plays multiple characters and is in almost every scene. Scrapping a $200 million film would be an unprecedented move. A couple things I want to say about this on why I think number 3 is simply just the best option. First of all, I know a lot of people have been saying things such as, why don't we just get Grant Gustin to come into this movie and take the job from Ezra? People prefer his Flash over Ezra's anyways. And whereas I'm not going to disagree with that, Grant Gustin is a pretty decent Barry Allen. I just don't like the way he's written in CW. I don't like how anything's written over in the CW. But anyways, my point being is that's not going to happen, because do you know how much money, extra money, that would cost on top of this $250 million budget, especially if Ezra is in every scene? From what I've read and the script I've read as well, he's pretty much in like 85%, 90% of the movie. That's nearly impossible to just pluck a new actor and put him in the role. And I know there might be some people who think like, oh, well, CGI special effects is a wonderful thing. How about deepfakes? It's not going to work. Even with a deepfake, you could potentially deepfake Ezra Miller the entire film. It's just not going to look pretty. Deepfake technology is great, but it's not to that point yet. I think when it comes to taking a new actor and substituting him as Ezra Miller's Flash for the entirety of this movie is something we can also mark off as not going to happen. It's too hard, it's too stressful, frustrating, complicated, and far too expensive. Here comes a movie from $200 million to $400 million, and this movie certainly ain't worth that. Now, considering Ezra Miller is in nearly every scene of the film, that's another good reason to just scrap this movie. Who wants to support this film with a guy like him leading the movie 90% of the way? If not, probably more. It's his movie, after all. So who wants to support this? Nobody. Usually the only people who want to support content like this are the people who think to themselves, oh, content, give me more content. I don't care if it's good, bad, mediocre, just give me more content. Well, if you can tell by the statements from David Zaslav and how he's been carrying himself as the new CEO of Warner Brothers, that's not the type of man he is, and content is not good content. He actually wants quality over quantity, and right now this movie does not feel like quality, and I'm sure it's not quality, and it won't help on the quantity side of it either. So that's another good reason why they should scrap the movie. Now, this morning, these posts were everywhere, and I was reading a couple of comments from people just to see people's reactions on this news about the potential of scrapping a movie. And it seems really strange that people actually care this movie has costed $200 million to make, and because of that, they want the movie released. I just find it weird because since when did people care about how much a movie costs to make? Usually people just want their movies when they want their movies. All of a sudden, it seems like so many people are like, oh, well, you should probably release this movie because that's a lot of money. What does Warner Brothers care? $200-300 million to them is $20-30 from David Zaslav's wallet. Yeah, look, putting that much money into a finished project that will never be released is going to hurt. But the fact that he's capable of biting the bullet on Batgirl, and I understand the budget is nowhere near as big as The Flash, but that's a statement right there. He's already proving to you that he'll do it again. He does not give a shit, and he does not care how many people get upset or angry about it. At this point, big budget or not, I think it is worth scrapping this movie, taking the massive hit, and moving on. Especially if David Zaslav wants to start this fresh, new DC cinematic universe, whether it be a soft reboot or a full-on reboot, maybe not moving forward with this film is the best option. Maybe the reason why this movie is once again undated is because he wants it to enter reshoots, which is going to somewhat change the story, and it is going to change the narrative on how the movie ends and where the DC universe goes from here. When I look at this movie, it's crazy. Warner Brothers put so much money and so much importance on this film. It makes me laugh because this movie, in the previous management of Warner Brothers, was meant to be the retconning and start of a new DCEU. That's what this movie was being used as. They put so much riding on this film, a film that has been in development hell since 2014. That is how stupid the previous management of Warner Brothers was. Why in the world would you think it is a smart idea to put your future of the DC IP in the palm of one movie's hand that has not been able to get kickstarted in 8 years? That is why the previous management of Warner Brothers, I don't feel bad for them. Every single one of them are idiots. And every single one of them who was on board to use the Flash movie as a new continuity and a retconning of Zack Snyder's universe, you deserve what came to you. You deserved to lose your job because you didn't deserve that job in the first place. Someone smart enough would have looked at this company and the dealings with this movie and would have said, guys, a movie that hasn't been able to get kickstarted in 8 years, we can't put the future of DC on this film with this actor. And frankly, it's just an embarrassing look that we have to take one of the most popular Justice League DC comic book characters created in The Flash, and we have to see these issues surround that character, surround these DC fans and superhero fans, surround a company in Warner Brothers that used to be a very prestigious company, and just to surround the whole brand of what DC is all about. This is the last thing you ever want to see surrounding a beloved character in The Flash. And I'm going to read this last bit of the article to you here because it pertains to what I want to say. Despite the arrests and headlines about Miller's alleged behavior, Warner Brothers Discovery Chief Zaslav said last week that the studio is committed to theatrical releases for a number of DC films, including The Flash. This is exactly what I was saying in my last video when, yeah, they said the movie is still coming out, but I promise you, this movie is not okay. And what you're seeing here with these three options just proves this movie is not okay and it is not safe. But this is what's very important about all of this, where Zaslav does end up saying, we've seen them, we think they are terrific, and we think we can make them even better. If that doesn't mean reshoots, I don't know what that means. Maybe there is a reason why The Flash is all of a sudden undated. Maybe they are going to make some serious changes to the movie. whatever that might be, it's gotta be better than what we were already going to be getting. I know it's constantly being said that so far the Flash has tested positively. I just don't believe it. I really think that is a lot of people who are potentially being paid to say this movie is really, really good. Trust me, don't let the whole Ezra Miller situation blind you to how good the film is. I just don't believe it. The fact that Zaslav chose his words very carefully, we think we can make them even better. I don't know what that means other than changing a lot of things about the movie and finally giving the fans specific things we've always wanted before the previous management, Walter Hamada, thought it would be a brilliant idea to retcon everything we've already had. So there you have it, guys. Those are the 3 options that Warner Brothers is currently considering at this moment. Let me know in the comments below what you think options 1, 2, 3, or somehow even neither of them. Maybe there's a 4th option somehow. I might even put a poll on my channel about this situation and see how people are feeling about it. I wouldn't be surprised if there is still quite a few people who want the film released, but I would not be surprised if there's more people who want this film scrapped. But that's it for this one, everyone, and until next time, I will talk to you all very soon.